Boo, 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 boo. Boo, 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 doo, doo, doo. Boo, 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 boo. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Magic in the Midwest podcast. This is podcast number 29. I am J.B. Michaels, USA Today bestselling author of many books, including the brand new Mac and Millie Mystery Festival of the Vine, which dropped on Thursday. I am joined here by my beautiful and more successful wife,
Ashley Michaels.
Ashley Michaels, and we are here, ladies and gents, to bring you some theme park magic to the Midwest. We don't really have a lot of theme parks up here in the Midwest that are
We do not.
that are major marquee type attraction theme parks. So, ladies and gentlemen, today we thought, please check us out, right? Rate and review us on Apple Podcasts, on Deezer, on Stitcher, on Spotify, on all sorts of different platforms where podcasts are downloaded. Also, for just as little as $3 a month, you can help support our little podcast here.
Whoa, it's only $3 a month?
It's just $3 a month.
Wow.
For just $3 a month, you get double the content. Yeah, that's right. We actually do 2 shows per week. One of the shows is exclusive to Bandcamp.com. So you go head on over to magicinthemidwestpodcast.bandcamp.com and you subscribe for literally double the content, ladies and gentlemen. So really great, smackdowns, we like to call them sometimes. Really great additional episodes of, kind of off the cuff fun. And of course, just, more JB and Ash and magic in the Midwest. So today we were going to talk about Ashley's bad mood. No, I'm kidding. Today we're going to talk about
Pretty crabby today. Actually, not crabby, just,
forlorn,
just an off day.
just sad.
Yeah.
2 off days in a row.
Well, yesterday was a half
Half
day.
off
So
day,
it's like,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. We don't care.
We don't need to get into it.
We don't. So, so basically we're going to go through, since we only did a little overview episode of Magic in the Midwest with the Hollywood Studios. We are going to actually now kind of take a few of the lands of Hollywood Studios, and we are going to basically kind of do a little run through like we do with all the other parks. And I'm looking forward to this. So, all right. So, Ash, we walk into Hollywood Studios and we enter into what is called Hollywood Boulevard. It kind of brings us back to old Hollywood immediately from the start. Lots of Art Deco, lots of old, lettering on the shops overhead. You walk a little further down, there's Mickey Avenue, right? And there's, there's the shop right there. And then, of course, you have the Brown Derby, which is, further up along Hollywood Boulevard, right to, if you're looking at the Grauman's Chinese Theater, Brown Derby is right to the right of the Grauman's Chinese Theater, which is a great sit-down deluxe signature dining restaurant.
Yes.
Actually.
We had a very good experience there.
Yes, really cool. It's a replica of the Brown Derby in Hollywood, California, which is, it's cool because it has a lot of great, pictures of all these celebrities all along the walls. Good steaks, good American fare, pork chops, all that good stuff. It's a great place to eat if you want a good Cobb salad. Of course, is the biggest, the biggest meal right there. That's the thing that they feature.
That's the thing to get.
That's the thing that they feature. Yes,
Okay,
it's the Cobb salad.
I didn't know that.
Yes. We went there on our honeymoon, right?
We did. We went there on our honeymoon.
Yeah.
And we had a really good time. I remember it was good food, and it was just a good experience. Atmosphere was good. Service was good.
Yeah.
It's been a while now, but yeah, I definitely want to go back.
Yeah. That's a winner. That is a definite
Winner.
a winner chicken dinner. And then of course we're going to talk a little bit about this twice. So we're going to talk about what was in the Hollywood.
It's twice.
Yeah, in the Hollywood Chinese theater. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Because originally, when the park initially launched, the first ride and the marquee ride, first we could talk about the area around Grauman's Chinese Theater. There's a lot of celebrities that came to studios and, did their hands, in the cement and wrote their name in the cement and, their signature and did their hands, their feet, or whatever they wanted to do. So lots of great celebrities, movie stars, directors, cartoon characters that you'll see that put their name in the sidewalk in front of the Grauman's Chinese Theater. Some notables are Harrison Ford, Jim Henson. I think Lucille Ball did it. I think lots of really Bob Hope did it.
I feel like we need to pay more attention, or I need to pay more attention when I go next time.
Yeah. Take a little stroll and just look at all the great, the greats that have,
the great greats,
the great greats that have put their hands and feet in the ground. So we also, Harrison Ford, we have the same size hands.
Oh, you and Harrison Ford?
Me and Harrison Ford.
Interesting.
Yeah. Same size hands and feet, I believe. We're just, similar in size. Yes.
Do you think you're similar in talent?
No. I don't. I don't. So anyway, but yeah, so at first there was a great ride, pardon the pun, great ride called the Great Movie Ride.
Yes.
Okay, and what was interesting about this ride is that it was sort of a showcase and homage to all things old Hollywood, like but also genres. Like it was kind of so neat that it actually existed for as long as it did. Like it's actually kind of I love it. The reason why I loved the Great Movie Ride the most, I think for me, it was my grandparents' Hollywood, right? They were great people. They loved the movies. My grandfather was an usher in the 1940s.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, like he would when they actually had ushers.
Yeah.
In movie theaters, he would bring people to their seats. He wore like the usher outfit, sort of like a Tower of Terror motif. For his costume or his uniform per se, and it was I grew up with a love of the golden age of Hollywood, and just movies in general, and that obviously persists until this day. Of course,
Yes.
I'm really actually quite nervous about the movie industry and movie theaters at this time. So a little worried that they're not going to be around. But hopefully it'll be okay. And what's neat about the Great Movie Ride is that it was a giant people eater. Like it could take, like, geez, how many people could fit in that vehicle? Like 100? Like 50 to 75 people?
I don't know if it was 100, but it was a lot.
Well, it was a double vehicle.
It was a lot.
Two. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it could fit a lot of people in one.
Well, it was a people eater. Okay.
Right. We don't know the exact number, but anyway, so you went through kind of a trip to the movies through Hollywood history and different genres of films. I mean, you had like animatronics of pretty much every iconic movie star of the 1920s. I mean, you had John Wayne, Clint Eastwood, Jimmy Cagney, Gene Kelly in Singing in the Rain, of course, Julie Andrews, Dick Van Dyke in the Mary Poppins scene.
Yep.
Humphrey Bogart, Ingrid Bergman, Mickey Mouse, Harrison Ford, and John Rhys Davies, right, from Raiders, Sala from Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, it was just awesome. It was awesome. It was a combination of dark ride, slow dark ride, and live action like performance.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was nothing like, it was so cool. You went through like the musical part, and then you went into, sort of it just in a different genres of film, like in like classic horror, and then you went into the spaceship Nostromo, with Sigourney Weaver. So it was just a really great ride. Asha, what did you think of the Great Movie Ride?
It was one of the rides that I really enjoyed too. I think that it, I was definitely sad to see it go, for sure. It was always a ride I really enjoyed going on, and we just had a lot of fun. And I know some of it could be a little cheesy, like the acting with the cast members, but I feel like that was sort of the intent.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we always laughed and had a good time. And when we went through the alien part, I always couldn't remember if the alien was going to come down from up top or the side, and I always would get a little freaked out. But only fond memories for me on that ride. And it will. I'm sure that Mickey and Minnie's is really cool. We have yet to go on that, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But I miss the Great Movie Ride. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I do too. I mean, I get it. Other podcasters, other pundits, as you would so to speak, said, they loved it too. They should have refreshed it. They should have done something else to it.
I mean, you think about it, it kind of fits the theme better.
It does fit the theme of Hollywood Studios.
Like, don't get me wrong, guys. I have high hopes for Mickey and Minnie's, and one of the reasons for that is because I feel like it's one of the few, original attractions. Like, they're not, you know what I mean? This isn't something based off of a movie, or I know that they're using the cartoon, the new Mickey cartoons, but I mean, it's a completely original ride, so that's kind of exciting versus the Ratatouille ride or something like that. That's just like an IP type situation, which
they already had in Disneyland Paris. And...
Right. So I like, I'm very excited about that, but it is interesting to think about. Just, I feel like Disney is sort of, sometimes you feel like they're kind of veering away from caring a lot about the theming of things the way that they used to.
Yes, yeah. I mean, the big push for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway was the fact that it's an original Mickey ride in a theme park. Like, that hasn't been done.
Well, I don't know why you're saying it like that. I mean,
that was how Disney marketed it. That's how they said.
You're
They're
saying
like, this
it's
is
sarcastic, like it's bad.
Well, what I'm saying is, does it fit in the Grauman's Chinese Theater?
Well, I think
I guess it does. In a way, it does. In a way, it does.
But I mean, this isn't the first ride that hasn't fit somewhere.
Right.
Don't make me get on my Frozen.
the Great Movie Ride 2, to me, it's a little bit of a. I think it's kind of neat because I'm sure a lot of generations of people were sort of exposed to these characters and things for the first time. And of course, the big marquee scene of the Great Movie Ride was Oz, and all of the Munchkins, and then of course the witch. And she was like, at the time, the witch animatronic was like the premier animatronic, like the most advanced audio animatronic that they had in all the parks was the Wicked Witch from the Oz scene. So, I mean, I think that I do. I'm excited for Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and we've of course, like Ash said, we haven't been on it yet. But yeah, we're kind of going from a broader scope of like a celebration of the thesis of the park, basically, which is old Hollywood, to Mickey and Minnie, and being in a Mickey and Minnie cartoon, which of course for the Disney company is historic, right? I mean, we wouldn't have Walt Disney World without a Mickey,
right? It's not like there's no ties there,
right?
I think that it loosely fits,
right?
But if you take the two rides, one of them definitely fits better than the other.
Yes, yeah, good point. Good point.
And I also think, though, and I don't know what your take is on this. Do you think it was that they were planning to do this for a while? Do you think it just has to do with the fact that the ride never seemed super crowded to me? I mean, you never really had to wait that long.
Well, over the years, I think, yes, I think they just. But here's the issue with this. The issue with this is Disney sort of let that happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they
agree.
sort of just let it get stale. Whereas in other rides, they're always iterating or doing something different, like Pirates and Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, something.
Like, they're kind of like upping their game and doing, like, you could have easily done different show scenes. Like, you know what? If you want to lift the gangster part and put the Avengers in there, like, put some sort of Marvel property in there, do something that would maybe update it. I feel like they could have done different things with the Great Movie Ride, because it almost had it almost had a perfect, actually, I think more than any other ride. It could have just been swapped. Scenes could have been updated and swapped for eternity. Mm-hmm. You know, like, we could have taken out something and put something new in, and people would be like, "Oh, we got to go on the Great Movie Ride." You know, again, like, let's check
Now,
this
does it
out.
have anything to do with, like, re-upping certain
Agreements? Yeah, I think some of that had to do with licensing things.
Okay.
Yeah, because, like, the interesting part about it is that Eisner was able to make agreements and with, lots of different studios.
I mean, who wouldn't want to be in that?
But now Disney owns so much studios at IP. They could have. But you're right, like Fox, Warner Brothers, lots of different studios put scenes from their films in the ride.
Yeah.
Anyway, so hopefully, from what we know, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, to many people, I don't know. I wish I could talk about it in greater detail, but you basically are in a cartoon. It's made to make you feel like you're inside of a Mickey cartoon from the Mickey 2016 relaunch of Mickey.
Newer.
Mickey, by the same guy who directed like the Ren and Stimpy show back in the 90s, and really, they're really funny. They're really funny, good Mickey and Minnie cartoons. They are really good.
They are really funny.
They're really good. I guess you're supposed to kind of have this madcap kind of journey through a cartoon, and it's supposed to be good. I think people get off of it and they just say, well, that was fine, right? I mean, it was good.
I've heard it kind of across the board. I think that's the majority of people say that. I've heard other people say they love it.
Okay.
And it's really good, and then other people kind of like, eh.
Okay, interesting.
So, I guess it just depends on what your expectations are, and...
Right.
But I guess we can't really speak to it yet for ourselves.
Okay. No, we can't. All right, well, then let's head over on to Echo Lake, Ash. And they just shut it down, and I don't think it's coming back. But the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular, you've talked about this before. You just said you like it, you like parts of it, but it's too long. And
yeah, I feel like it kind of gets a little slow, and I understand the reality is, they have to set things up between, the different scenes that they do, but I always find myself during it kind of getting bored.
Okay.
And that's just me. I don't know. I don't feel that way about a lot of other shows on Disney property, but for some reason I just think I don't know. I think it needed a refresh. I'm not saying the show needs to go away, but I think it needed something. It was,
Makes sense.
I think the main reason why there were so many people jammed in there all the time is because for a while there was like nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And it takes up a ton of people.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. I think Disney has... so here's some other things, and I liked Indy. I mean, obviously, I like the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular, but I think you're right. I think maybe for modern audiences, it might have. It was the same show. I mean, they literally put the same show on since since the opening of the park. Since like a little bit after the opening of the park, they've been doing the same show. So when you see it, you're like, okay, good. Do I have to see it again? And again and again. I mean, the effects are great. The show's great. The theater's great. It's a well-designed.
And it fits the theme great.
It does. It's a great movie situation, right? Because they're showing you like sort of like the behind the scenes of an action movie.
You know what it is? I think I feel when we see it that I just feel slowed down. Like I'm just like, let's just go do something else. Like I feel like this is just gonna suck up a lot of our time. I don't know why. It just feels that way to me.
Okay, yeah, it makes sense.
But I mean, I think a lot of people enjoy it. But it'll be interesting to see because we don't really know what they're doing. Like it's not necessarily a refresh. It's not necessarily something completely new. We don't really know, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We don't know what they're doing yet. So we do know that Disney wants to make an Indiana Jones 5 with Harrison Ford and with the director James Mangold, who directed Ford versus Ferrari and The Wolverine.
My vote
and Logan.
Is the Indy ride.
Me too. We want a ride. Let's give us a ride.
I don't care if it's the same ride that's out in Disneyland.
Yes.
That's what I want.
Yes. Okay, so I love Indiana Jones. I'm very biased.
Our son is named after
our
the
name
actor
is Harrison.
Our
name is Harrison. Our name is Harrison. No, our son is Harrison. Yeah, I mean it's a fun show. I mean, it's comforting to me to see Indy, that big Indy whipping, with the whip and the sign and Indiana Jones Epic Stunts, and then you hear the music as you walk past it, and there's that little Indiana Jones shop back there. It's kind of like literally off the beaten path. So, okay.
Yeah, I like the store.
Yeah, me too. I like that store as well. I could spend the whole everything in the store. Okay, so that, of course, in Echo Lake as well. For a long time in the Hyperion Theater, I don't know if you knew this, Ash, there was an American Idol experience.
I guess I did because you told me about your experience with it.
Yeah, I tried doing it once. It was kind of silly, but it was fun. And then, of course, they got rid of the American Idol experience when American Idol, even though it's still on somehow, when American Idol kind of lost its luster, which, it's still on TV, but nowhere near as popular as it once was. And they got rid of it, and then they put the Frozen sing-along in it. How do you feel about that? It's gone now. The Frozen sing-along is also gone. But
we went in there. You dragged me in there one time.
The music of
there was
Frozen.
some super tall guy sitting in front of me.
Let it go.
And I was like, yeah, I want to go was what I wanted to sing.
Right.
No, I'm sure, I mean, the thing is, 8 zillion kids probably love that.
Right.
So, fine.
Good. It's good. It's fun,
We forgot to talk about that we learned that wasn't it just one night only for the Indiana Jones Stunt Spectacular? There was like a crossover with Star
there
Wars?
was. There was a Star Wars and Indiana Jones crossover.
I mean, if you're not going to do a ride, that's all you really need to do.
Yeah, let's do that.
And then I don't really feel like you need to do the behind the scenes as much.
No.
I think you could just make it more about
just make it a show.
Yeah.
True.
There you go, Diz.
Just make it a
free ideas.
Live action play.
Free ideas.
Free ideas.
I know you guys listen to our podcast.
Hashtag free ideas. Thank you.
Someone is responsible. It's someone's entire job.
That's right.
Listen to us and report back ideas.
You're welcome. All right, so
it's free. It's on the house.
You're welcome. All right, and then another big attraction, which I love in Echo Lake, is Star Tours The Adventure Continues.
I'm not sure this ride gets enough love. I mean, it's usually busy, but I feel like people just don't really talk about it because now, with everything that the park has to offer, Galaxy's Edge, and then everything else is just, it's like the Star Wars ride that's not in Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah,
pretty
much.
But I mean, we always have and I know they updated it recently, but we always have a really good experience on that ride.
I was around, of course, when you were a kid and I was a kid, we both went in the original Star Tours, and it was fun. But now, I don't know, they have this new projection system, and it's 3D now, and you wear the 3D glasses, and like they have that shuffle of like you go to 3 different planets and you'd never know which one you're going to, and like there's a bunch of different planets. And I just really think they've done a really great job. They've done a really great job iterating on that experience. Mm-hmm. And now I think it's near perfection for like a 3D simulator. Like it's really good.
I mean, we just had fun.
It was Harrison, fun. It's also not, it doesn't make you sick. Mm-mm. Like it's mild enough, but still really engaging somehow. It really makes you feel
I wouldn't really
You're having
call
fun.
it mild, but we have a few people.
Well, mild, I
with
think,
us.
in motion sickness.
It is, but it's
Yeah.
like it really delivers on like thrills still at the same
Yeah.
time. It was still thrilling,
Yes,
and fun.
yes.
And my mom and dad both struggle a little bit with motion sickness, and they were both fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
It's fun. I really enjoy it. I love the scene where you get Darth Vader in the beginning and he like lifts the Star Tours ship and then he like pulls you towards him. It's
Yeah.
like that's so cool. You feel like he's got you in the Force.
I just love that C-3PO
You know.
is there narrating, and he's just like totally,
Right. Right.
like not really doing a great job.
Right, right. Well, it's funny because Rex is the original pilot in the original Star Tours. Well, they took Rex out. They added C-3PO and R2
Mm-hmm.
are now in there. But Rex can be found in the cantina in Galaxy's Edge as
okay,
a
okay.
DJ.
Oh,
So like
got a
they
new
didn't
gig.
get rid of Rex. He's over in Galaxy's Edge, which a lot of people were like, "Where's Rex? I want Rex back." But I think the new Star Tours is. I'll be honest. I think it's way better. I love
And I mean,
it.
the line was long when we were there, but to be fair, Mickey and Minnie's was not open yet, and neither
There
was
wasn't anything
Galaxy's
open
Edge.
yet. Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's usually, I'll be honest, you could catch Star Tours at 10 minutes most times.
But it was like 40, and I think that usually, sometimes Disney will say it's a 40-minute wait, and you end up waiting a little bit less. I think we did wait the full 40, if not a
Yeah.
little longer for
yeah.
it.
But
Worth it. I think it's worth the wait.
Yeah.
It was a fun ride, and it's not super short by any means. I mean, it's a
good experience.
Yeah, I think
it's
so.
a cool wait, too.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a cool wait.
Yeah, it's lots of things to look at, lots of things to see and listen to while you're waiting in line in the Star Tours launch bay. Also, you have to note that like when you're waiting outside, before you get inside, there's the big AT-AT walker that's kind of iconic, and the Forest of Endor you wait in while you're while you are in the area.
Sorry about it.
And then, of course, we talked about this a little bit last time when we did our overview episode, but the Tatooine Traders is just a really good Star Wars shop.
Yes.
You pop right out and you see, you go right into a souvenir shop, of course. So, yeah, Star Tours, definitely, honestly, it's a must-do for me. I don't ever want to go and not go on Star Tours.
I agree.
And I think maybe, too, we're probably a little biased because I feel like Harrison really reacted to that ride.
He loved it.
Like, I think that also kind of gave us a little bit more of a, boost for that
yeah,
ride.
I mean-
You know what I'm saying? Like, it just, because, I mean,
Yes,
it is really fun.
Absolutely.
But also our little boy was
You
like,
know what? I don't know if I
love
would
it.
say. I mean, of course, I would always want to go on it. But here's the thing, and we were talking about this the other day. There's so much at Hollywood Studios. It's like, new and a quote unquote must do that I guess
Yeah.
if you had to cut something out, I might cut out something I've already done. Versus,
Yeah.
if we could do Galaxy's Edge, I might be like, well, I'll give up Star Tours if we
Yeah.
could do Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah. Okay, Ash, let's head on over. The dining in this area is Backlot Express, which we talked about with Holly and Pete last time. And then, of course, we have the 50s Primetime Cafe,
Love it.
which we did on our last trip.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we talked about that a little bit too. And I just, I would love to go back. I thought the food was phenomenal.
Right.
Pot roast. Really
Okay.
good.
Okay.
You don't seem
Gotcha.
as enthused. I, feel
I
like
thought it
you're-
was really good. No,
you're
I
not
absolutely...
engaged.
No. I was engaged. I'm engaged.
Are you engaged with someone?
No. I thought it was really good.
No, we had a really good experience there. I thought the food was my favorite food of our last trip. And maybe overall.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I think it's maybe some of the best food I've had on Disney property.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
So, and your dad was, your dad was born in 1952.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, I think he just felt like he was a kid
he
again.
loved it.
Because the way that they do everything at primetime, where you sit, is all 50s kitchens. Like, but in your house kitchen. Like,
Yeah,
with a
it's
little
small. So there's like
black
maybe
and white
two
TV
other tables in the same room as you.
showing like old commercials and old things and just like 50s stuff everywhere and I mean, just it's just a really neat motif. It's also a good experience that the servers have like sort of fun scripts that they kind of follow to give you a hard time about not eating your vegetables and things like that.
Yeah,
you know,
you need a straw, get it yourself.
Right, just fun stuff that they do.
Yeah,
they
which
kind of
is-
throw the straws on the table, or like
Yeah, they're kind of.
Yeah.
I should get a job there.
You
I
should.
could just be myself.
You should.
No, everyone in my family could get a job there.
Right.
Some more than others.
Yes.
No, but I would definitely say if you have not eaten there, you should check it out.
Definitely get an advanced dining reservation.
And if you have picky eaters, this is still a good place because there's just a lot of comfort food on there, and it's just done very well.
Cool tip about Echo Lake and near 50s Primetime Cafe. There is a really, really neat Roger Rabbit Easter egg. If you look above the 50s Primetime Cafe and I believe Hollywood and Vine, because they're both kind of like next to each other. I thought they were, although it doesn't seem like it's on the map right now. But anyway, so you can look up and you can see an outline of Roger Rabbit, like when he jumps through the window in Eddie Valiant's in the beginning of Roger Rabbit.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, so there's some Roger
outline.
Rabbit references.
Neat.
That you need to kind of take a look at and see above the 50s Primetime Cafe. All right, Ash, so let's just kind of...
Singing.
Our son is singing the Monster Mash. It's Halloween
himself.
time here
So
in the
cute.
in the world. Yes, it's actually quite cute. Quite cute. All right, and then of course, geez, we're talking about him, but we didn't even. So, give me, Gash, real quick. Let's kind of backtrack a little bit. What would you be your rating on the Great Movie Ride? Now that it's gone.
I would give it like a 7.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
7.5. 7.
0.5.
You're kind of okay. So 7.5.
No, but anything I was gonna go up to 8, but I'm gonna stay with 7.5
Why is 7.5? Why not just the 8?
because I feel like Disney made zero effort to update it, and so I do think it got a little stale. I do think
It did.
that you have to, stay on top of things a little bit more. So
Okay.
I take half a point off for that.
Makes sense.
But I
Okay.
liked it. It wasn't like my favorite ride on property, so I'm not gonna give it a 10. But
Right.
I always really enjoyed it. I feel like you could fit a decent amount of people on there. It's a
Right.
slower ride, so most people can enjoy it, and it's fun. It's fun to revisit. It was fun to revisit those movies.
It really is. It really is. And I really also one more thing before you get into the ride area, you do have this like sizzle reel of all these movies, which I loved. Like you wait and you're in actually like a movie theater and you're watching like a sizzle reel of like old trailers.
Yeah.
Of Psycho is on there, North by Northwest is on there, Raiders, Alien, like all sorts of cool trailers that I loved. I missed that. So for me, Great Movie Ride would be a 9. Now I'm going to give it a 9 because of my love and nostalgia factor of film. For a ride experience, probably an 8. But if I was just to say ride and I wasn't like into movies, I would probably say an 8. But a 9 bumps it because I just love that it was a historical attraction.
Yes.
It really was a history attraction, which I love.
Well, and I think that, I was looking at it from a more technical standpoint too, but I think I loved it more because of you and your family
Yeah,
and how much you
yeah.
guys all love movies and how much you love movies. And I like movies too, but not to that degree.
Yeah,
I think that my love for that has grown over time.
Yeah.
But you guys would always get so excited to go on the ride, and so I would get excited.
Yeah,
And you would
yeah.
point things out to me on the ride that I, probably wouldn't have noticed and
Right,
that type
right.
of thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I missed that. Okay, so what's your rating on Indy? You'll like this. It's okay to go low.
No,
you
there were parts of the show that were really cool. But like the part with the audience, participation, and sometimes I just feel like it would take a really long time, and you're kind of like, okay, let's go. Like, can't you be doing something else between that? I'm gonna give it like a 6.
Okay, I kind of figured you were gonna go 6. She's probably the first 6 that she's given.
And I love Indy. I do. I'm never like, when we're in there, I'm always like, ugh.
But you're not as engaged as you want to be.
No, I'm like, this is the last show I would pick to see out of all the shows we've seen.
Okay. So the Indiana Jones epic stunt failure for Ashley.
No, failure.
I know. I'm just kidding. An epic stunt spectacular.
And I think part of it too was just our experiences in there. Like a lot of times it was like, it was in a situation where we were trying to figure out something to do, and we would go in there and it would be jammed, and then the one time it like stopped, they couldn't do it.
Right, we had to leave.
It just hasn't always been the best experience, and for some reason, even though it's really spacious in there, I always just feel cramped, and I'm like, I just like, how many more scenes are there?
Right. Okay, so that's
sorry,
okay. For me, it's why don't apologize. You don't need to apologize. For me, it's an 8, because at the I have, when I've gone back, I can see where there can be some pacing issues with the ride, or with the experience. Like I feel like modern audiences, unfortunately, and I don't think this is necessarily good, but I feel like today, this generation of people, like, we are constantly stimulated in some way, shape, or form by our cell phones, by lives, by information, and I feel like there are some long setups that they try to like fill in the gaps with, like, explaining to you how like movies work and stuff like that. But I could see where it would lose younger kids.
And I feel like that's definitely
true.
And
Obviously,
but
it lost you.
I don't feel like I'm someone, though, that has fallen victim to that. Like, meaning like how we're overstimulated. I mean, maybe a little bit. But for me, even by the time they do that plane scene at the end,
done with this.
I am not even, like, I'm just sort of like, how many fake punches can we throw? Like, I'm over it. That's all we're doing.
Okay, so, I mean, yeah.
Like someone, like, the plane is turning, it keeps turning, it turns like 17 times, and they're just fighting, and the plane is turning.
Right. It's like a cool.
Wrap it up.
I mean, I know Ash is. It's still. If you've never seen it at all, it's a great show, I think, to see at least once, because there's lots of really neat things that they do, and I think for me also, I was part of the show a couple of times. Like, I volunteered and got to go on the stage, and be part of it, and that was really fun. Like, they make get you dressed up and in some different clothes, like a marketplace clothes, in Tunisia, basically where it was, or in the movie it was Egypt, but that was kind of fun to do. Just being up there was fun, and
that's like JB's.
It was
like,
fun.
Thing. Yeah. That would be like my biggest nightmare of all time.
Right. So I mean, I give it an 8 for that. I do see, that it could have used a little bit more, maybe love over the years. But yeah. So okay, and then Ash, Star Tours. What do you review Star Tours? What do you give it out of 10?
I give it like a 9 at least.
Okay. Yeah.
I think the line is fun. I mean, it's Star Wars, so it has that going for it.
Yeah.
I like the queue, actually. I
Yeah.
just do. And I think the ride experience is just really cool. And I think the updates have added a lot. The 3D has added a lot. And, like, one of the times we went on it this most recent time, it was like we had landed in Batuu.
Yeah.
Which was cool.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, yeah.
Hey, it's right here.
Go over
we
there.
We can go to Batuu
Go there
today.
and spend a bunch of money.
Please buy a $500 lightsaber. Or, sorry, $200 lightsaber. Not
well, it probably starts at $200.
You could probably get $500.
It probably could.
You probably could. Some diamonds.
But, yeah, I mean, I'm always game for Star Tours.
Okay.
I like it.
So I agree with you. I'm going to totally be on the same page as you with this one. I'm going to give it a 9. The whole story of Star Tours is really kind of neat. George Lucas one of George's biggest inspirations when he was a child, and something that was a big part of his life, was Walt Disney. And Eisner sort of had reached out to George and said, "George, do you want to develop some attractions for Disney theme parks?"
How cool.
And George was like, "Yes, I do." And
Of course.
out came Star Tours, and then of course now there's Disney bought Star Wars.
Yeah, but
from
don't you
him.
feel like it's a good example of a ride that has they've kept it up?
Yes,
Like they've made the necessary changes, and I feel like it's hasn't changed a ton, but it's changed enough, and
Whereas
it feels
they
fresh.
let
And
the Great Movie Ride sort of just kind of
yeah,
go
they
stale.
did. They just let it go.
Yeah. Whatever. I mean, that
It wasn't
happens.
like but you could tell it was sort of like they just sort of like let this one.
Right.
run.
Let's just let it run its course. So it's interesting. Lucas came in. Obviously the first ride was Star Tours. Then we had Indy. And I think there's been, and then of course Indiana Jones and the Temple of the Forbidden Eye, the ride that we want in Disney World.
Yeah.
Give us that.
See, and
ride.
I think that's part of it. I think it's what I'm expecting. Like, when I'm watching Indy, I want action. I don't want the slowdown
Thrills.
of behind the scenes.
Right,
Like, give me
right.
that. I know that was what the backlot tour was, but when I'm sitting down for a show, I don't want to see that.
Yeah.
I want to. It's Indy. I
Right.
want
Yeah.
the action.
want
That's
the
what I
thrill.
want. I feel like it's a little mixed for me.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. I like that. It's an interesting. I wonder. Holy cow.
Seems
Okay,
like
he's okay. Sorry.
still singing.
We just heard a big crash upstairs. Our son is probably experimenting and
Experimenting?
making
Like with drugs?
Frankenstein's monster. Yes. Anyway. So okay, Ash. I think that's pretty good for today. Anything you want to add about Star Tours, Echo Lake area, Hollywood Boulevard,
What would you suggest between Brown Derby and
Primetime?
Primetime?
Brown Derby.
Okay, and do you have any thoughts on Hollywood and Vine? We didn't really share about that.
I don't even. It's not even on the
Oh,
map
it's not on
anymore.
the map anymore?
Did they shut it down?
We didn't have a really great experience there.
Well, it was a buffet situation, and I honestly think they only open it up every once in a while.
Oh, now they do.
Maybe it's just not on the map anymore. This is I do think what we did was kind of unique. We did this Fantasmic package where we had like a dinner at Hollywood and Vine, and then we got a special seating area in Fantasmic where we didn't have to wait an hour to see Fantasmic. We could just head on over there.
Which was nice.
Yeah.
The food was not good, though. And this is coming from someone that likes not great food.
Right. It was a buffet.
It was not good.
And it just wasn't the best. It really was not. I agree with you, Ash. But for Primetime Cafe, you can't go wrong.
No.
I guess. Let me just put it to you this way.
Rewind. Yeah.
Primetime. If you have a family, I think that with kids, they would probably enjoy that more.
Yeah, I think so.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're a couple, go to Brown Derby.
Yeah, and you can totally
with
take your
your
family
buddies.
to Brown Derby, but I would
You
agree. I would agree with
If you want a more adult themed dining,
There was definitely less
situation.
kids in Brown Derby.
Yeah.
And it feels more
Feels
grown up.
different. It's more.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
more. Yes, I would say it definitely is.
Adultish.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So Brown Derby
What
for
about price? Are they about the same?
no Brown Derby's
More expensive? Okay.
Yeah,
Because Primetime's not
Primetime you could-
inexpensive either.
Primetime you could get away with not spending a ton, honestly. Whereas Brown Derby is more signature dining. I mean, you're going to be paying a little more,
Yeah.
But Brown Derby is just it's really great,
We need to go back.
Yeah, we do. So, all right. So that was our little run through of not only the Hollywood Boulevard area of the park, but also Echo Lake and the attractions and bygone attractions therein. And next time we got a lot. There's still a lot of studios to get through.
Yes.
So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts or wherever. Share the podcast. Subscribe to Magic in the Midwest. Magic in the Midwest podcast.
Bandcamp.com.
Also, please follow us on Instagram. .com/Magic in the Midwest.
I'm also thinking about
podcast.
getting into the TikTok game. I think we need to.
Ugh.
I know, but you got to keep up with the times. I know.
Okay. Anyway, I mean, you go ahead. I don't want any.
No, you're gonna be part of it. No, you will be
part
of it.
I don't want any part of it.
You'll be part of it.
Nope. Okay, so. Yeah, please check out Instagram, Magic in the Midwest podcast. And
if you're looking for an extra episode a week,
yeah.
please subscribe.
Yes.
And we would love to hear about your experiences in the park. And email us at magicinthemidwestpodcast@gmail.com
yes.
or comment or send us a direct message or, whatever.
Today, this week's SmackDown episode, our Bandcamp exclusive episode, is going to be us talking about Universal Studios theme park versus Hollywood Studios theme park.
Ooh, I mean, how intriguing. How do you not want to listen?
I mean,
you do.
It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What am I going to say?
I don't know. All right, ladies.
Tune in.
Anyway, from the...
Oh, my God.
From the Midwest. See you later.